Whoa. You're probably wondering who we are.
Hi, my name is Heather, and I play the violin.
Hi, I'm Joshelle, and I also play the violin.
Hi, my name is June, and I play the cello.
Hi, my name is Will, and I play the viola.
And together we are the Solideo String Quartet.
We are a group of 4 musicians made up of 2 violins, a viola, and a cello. That is called a string quartet.
So in a violin, we are the highest notes of a string quartet, and we have an E, A, D, and G.
Along with the violin, you also need a bow to play it. And the bow consists of 3 main parts. The bottom, which we call the frog, the middle, and the tip, which we call the wood, and the hair. Now, can you guess what kind of hair this is made from? Horsehair.
The cello is like a violin with 4 strings, but they are different. The cello has an A string, D string, G string, C string. The cello also has the biggest size, so the cello is known to play the bass.
So viola is in the middle of the violins and the cello. We have the same strings as a cello, the A string, D, G, and C, but we play over our shoulder like a violin.
A string quartet is like a PB&J sandwich, where the first violin is the top piece of the bread, the second violin and viola are the peanut butter and jelly, and the cello is the bottom piece of the bread. Each of these parts are important, but are even better together. You can't have a sandwich if one of these parts is missing.
Hey Heather, how did you start playing the violin?
Well, I started playing violin when I was 6 years old. My mom asked me if I wanted to play. I had no clue what a violin was. I thought it was something you blow in and make noise, kind of like a recorder. Anyways, I started out pretty squeaky, but I soon learned how to make beautiful sounds, and I've stuck with it forever since then. How have you learned to play violin, Joshelle?
Me? Well, when I was about 5 years old, my aunt started playing violin, and I would watch her practice every day, and it looked so much fun, but I couldn't join her because I didn't have a violin of my own. So for my 6th birthday, I asked my mom if she would get me a violin and if I could start violin lessons. And she did. And a few days later, look at me now. Hey June, how did you start learning cello?
Well, I started playing cello when I was 10 years old. My brother actually started playing violin when he was around 8 years old, and I'll always watch him play. And eventually I thought I wanted to play a string instrument, but something different, something with a bigger size and bigger sound. So I asked my mom if I could try the cello, and she let me try it. So I've been playing cello to this day, and it's been my favorite instrument ever since.
Wow, that's so cool, June.
So Will, how did you take up viola?
Well, when I was 5 years old, my parents and I went to Vienna, and I remember that it was so cool because Vienna is where people like Mozart and Beethoven used to live. And I remember in the snow, I saw a string quartet playing, and I was so interested in what they were doing that I just sat in the snow and watched them for a few hours. And that's what made me really want to start playing violin, and then eventually I switched over to viola.
Wow, I think I've heard that name before, Mozart. So he made music in Vienna. Who was this Mozart? What did he do in his life?
So just like an author writes books with pictures and words and stories, a composer is the name that we give to someone who writes music. And the music that they write, we like to call them pieces. Let's talk about a composer from hundreds of years ago who is famous even at your age. Johannes Chrysostomus Wolfgangus Theophilus Mozart.
So, Mozart?
Oh, I heard he used to live in Vienna.
Where is that?
Yeah, it's this really, really cool place in Europe.
It's the city where many of these amazing composers lived.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Ooh, I heard he wrote over 600 pieces.
Yeah, he totally did, Heather. But did you also know?
Wait. I heard he had a bunch of birds and a dog.
Yes, June. He had birds and a dog. Wolfie was talented at a very young age and became world famous for his piano playing and composing skills by age 8. He performed for Louis XV, the King of France. He wrote his first symphony at 8 years old, which is a very big piece of music for a very, very large group of people called an orchestra. What were you doing when you were 8 years old, Heather?
Before we listen to some Mozart, we need to explain the difference between a melody and accompaniment. Melody is like a main character in a book, while the accompaniment acts like a group of friends who help the main character shine.
Let's see if we can find the melody. Raise your hands if you hear the melody, and if you hear the accompaniment, pose your arms in a different style. Anything that you can freeze frame. Let's take a listen.
Hey, listen to this!
This sounds pretty good.
Ooh, I think this needs a melody.
Hey, don't leave me behind.
Hey, no fair! I want to play the melody too!
Yeah, we need to find a way for all the instruments to have an important part.
But that changes the rules. What crazy composer would do that?
What rules? Why do we always have to follow the rules?
So I know lately it seems like there's a lot of rules that we've had to follow, like washing our hands, using hand sanitizer, wearing masks or face coverings whenever we go outside, or just keeping a 6-foot distance in between us and other people. However, all of these rules that we're following are here to keep us, our friends, and our families safe and healthy. And just like we have all these rules we have to follow, composers also had rules that they had to follow when they wrote music. And one of those rules were, the first violin always gets the melody.
Moments later.
The world of music has been changed. This one guy, what's his name? Ludwig van Beethoven. Beethoven?
Beethoven.
Oh, thanks. Beethoven, that's his name. Ludwig van Beethoven. Can you say that with me? Beethoven. Beethoven. Beethoven had changed the world of music, and he was one of the best composers we've ever had because he changed the string quartet by giving the melody to the viola and the cello in addition to just the violin. Just like Mozart, Beethoven was also a composer and a famous pianist when he was really young. In fact, he was about your age when he started.
Just like Mozart and Beethoven, each of you could create your own piece and learn an instrument too.
Right on. Beethoven also changed the rules by filling his music with the sweet songs and singing, and then having a sudden surprise and loud noise in the middle of a symphony. This always kept his audience on their toes. What is especially cool is Beethoven expressed his emotions in his music. So if he was angry, he made some part of that music sound mad. In this piece you hear next, let's see what Beethoven is expressing. Is he sad? Does it sound mysterious? Is he laughing? Does it sound funny? Or maybe it sounds reflective. Or are the instruments making fun of each other? Or working together? Let's take a listen.
No, I get the melody first.
But I want the melody too, Heather.
Viola.
Well, my notes are higher than yours.
Viola.
Yeah, but no one wants to hear your squeaky notes.
Viola.
Will you quit that, Will?
Hey, don't be jealous.
Hey, I thought we were on the same team, you and me.
A few moments later.
The
What
viola
the
is
heck is
obviously
crazy?
superior.
We know
I don't know why
that violins are always way more
This is
important
something
than the
that
other
is so
instruments. We have the highest string.
Guys. We need to stop fighting with each other and listen to each other. We need to solve our problems and work together as a team. It's the only way to make great music.
I guess you're right, June. Heather, I'm sorry for calling you squeaky.
That's okay. I forgive you. I'm sorry that I was so selfish and didn't want to share the melody.
5 minutes later. 20 minutes later. 8 hours later.
Him?
Eventually.
Well, I still think viola is the best. But I guess that violin and cello isn't too bad either.
Let's move to music of today. The music by composers who are still alive right now, who look, talk, and come from places like you and me. Today, music can sound like anything and not break the rules. This allows us to explore new music and composers and work together with them to learn how to play their ideas. In this world, we string players get to play with cool new techniques. We can pluck really loudly, and we can sound like birds calling or waves rolling. We can also make our bow strokes sound like horses and thunderstorms. This next piece, see if you can hear whether the cello has the melody or the violins. Who has the accompaniment part?
That was so cool.
Wait, what was so cool?
Well, that music sounded so different from Mozart and Beethoven.
Yeah, I loved it. I need to pass the melody more often. I really liked passing it along to you, Joshelle.
It was so cool because after you gave it to me, I got to give it to Will.
I kept making fun of you guys while the viola was playing the melody until June captured it for me.
I like that we could all pass the melody to the instrument next to us and try to play it like a joke, just the way the composer wanted.
Also, it was awesome how we could work through all our problems and manage to play music together.
And everyone got to share the melody with the listeners. That's what real teamwork can do. If you like what you heard today and want to try making music yourself, talk to your parents or teachers about learning an instrument.
You could join your school band or orchestra, or you could learn to play an instrument with your friends and family.
You could learn to sing, play violin, viola, or cello like any of us, or you could learn a completely different instrument altogether.
It was really great to make music together. When everyone listens to and respects each other, we can create a great recipe for beautiful, beautiful music. Remember, music is for everyone. So what are you going to share with the world?